Friday night. Got my good friend Matthew Flaherty on for round 3 for the Engearment.com podcast. Matt, welcome back to the show, my friend, and cheers to you.
Thank you for having me back. I know we've been trying to plan this third one, and something came up, and that came up, and then my procrastination skills really kicked in, and you texted me yesterday, and it was like, all right, I'm doing it tonight. That's it. Tomorrow. How's 8:30? Let's go.
Yeah, Friday night. Let's do it. Happy hour with Matthew. I'm into it. And since the last podcast, I thought we've done 4 together. I guess we've only done 2, but we've seen each other often, and all this messaging and training together. Matthew actually came out to Denver in September for the flexible steel course, and that was a fantastic course. Thank you for teaching that at our gym. I still use that stuff every day. So that was a hoot hangout. We went to Jones Pass, to Sean's Run, and that was a wonderful time. So.
Yeah. Well, it probably feels like 4 because I mean, I've lost count, but I think I am the most mentioned guest on your podcast.
I think by far you are.
Yeah.
Pat Flynn,
and to clarify, Alex, I did not start the fires.
Fact. I watched Matthew the whole time except for he's peeing. He did not start the fire.
No, man, I'm glad you guys had me out there. Any excuse for me to get out to Colorado is well taken and well deserved. And to be able to come out and teach flexible steel was pretty awesome. It was a good weekend. I'm
glad to hear that. It's it's such a good course. Anybody gets a chance to take it, I suggest it in a heartbeat. And you don't need equipment for it. You can do it anywhere. I have people of all ages and backgrounds and kids doing it, and it just works amazingly well. And so that was back in September, middle of September, when you came out to teach that.
Yeah. I think we had just settled back into the city, moving back in after quarantining out on Long Island at my in-laws for March, April, May, June, July, August, September, basically 6 months.
Wow.
Just because we just needed to get out of the city. When all this started, it was my kids we would have had to sign up for times for them to play in the stairwell. Versus, going out there and having a backyard, and, the dogs could run around. And so it was good that we had that opportunity to get out there, but it was also really good to get back to my space.
Oh, yeah. And he gave me a great tour of the place. You can probably hear Pugsley and Wednesday, his dog's snoring on his lap right now. There's Pugsley.
I don't want to disturb the old lady.
Hear her rest.
You're my girl. My girl.
Oh, she's so cute. She actually made a cameo when we were at the SFGII in Denver. Both dogs.
They both did. Yeah, they were my road dogs driving out to Colorado and driving back.
That's right. And Fabio was teaching that one, and Doc Hartle was our team leader. And
Yep.
And then you came over there, and then were you going to Steamboat?
I was coming back from Steamboat. So that trip was all the stars aligned for a couple things. I had driven out with the 2 dogs to Copper. Mm-hmm. I had ridden the Copper Triangle.
What is that triangle?
It is 116-mile tour. It's just over 100 miles. I've done a couple of them out there, and I kind of forget the exact mileage, but I believe it's just over 100 miles around Copper Mountain. Starts and ends at Copper. Up a couple of the passes, up Vail Pass, Copper to Vail, up the backside of Vail Pass, and then back into Copper.
Whoa! So is it Fremont Pass, Tennessee Pass, and Vail Pass?
Those are the ones.
All right.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, especially training here at sea level.
He's in New York City. We didn't clarify. He's in New York City.
Yeah.
And so to go back to the first part of the conversation, the last time we had our chat was the peak or the height of COVID restrictions, and you painted a very clear picture of how devastating it was in New York City. So when you said you had to schedule time for your kids to play in the stairwell, that's the reference we're talking about. Like, it was so restricted and so dangerous.
There's a window right here that if you look out this window right down to the street, that is where the freezer trucks were with bodies.
Wow. And see, in Denver, I haven't seen
You
it.
know, we left because that's what the kids would have been looking at.
Right. So disheartening. So scary. And also the first episode we had together was the first or second week in to the whole COVID situation in the middle of March, I believe.
Yeah, when I packed basically a backpack to go out to my in-laws because we figured, hey, this will be over in 2-3 weeks.
Right. Right.
That's what everybody thought. We didn't think this was still going to be going on now.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Stay home for 2 weeks.
We left the city the day after. It was either the day after or the day before St. Patrick's Day.
That's right. Yep.
Because that's when basically shit hit the fan and numbers started spiking. And, you know, like I said, we just didn't know if it was safe here. We didn't know what exactly was going on, but we just knew this was really not the place to be for, you know, for these 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
6 months later.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
You were the first person to be on the show to talk about COVID and how it was affecting you, because I mean, it affected all of us by middle of March, but you guys were the hardest, quickest. Oh, it's crazy to think, like, I'm not going to get in numbers too much, but last I read is like 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 people in LA have it or have had it. Is that right?
yeah. I think there are a couple of hospitals in LA that are out of beds.
Yeah.
Multiple hospitals that their COVID unit is completely packed. It's crazy the way, you know, the mutated virus, the new version, this and that. It's just, we did not expect this back in March.
Not at all. No.
And that's just, you know, it's I hate saying it, but it's the new normal, you know, it's just kind of what we're dealing with now. But, you know, thank God, you know, with the, you know, things dropping down a little bit, and although now numbers are starting to spike again, you know, like I said, we were able to, you know, come back here. The kids have been in school. They're getting, my kids are 5 and 3. They get tested weekly. We do the little, you know, the nose swab with them every Wednesday, drop it off every Thursday, drop it off with the school. They test it. You know, the kids are limited in what they're doing in school, but at least they're still in school.
Right.
You know, so we, the end of last year, they were both doing Zoom school. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when we moved out to my in-laws, they, you know, they were on Zoom. And when things started to calm down the beginning of the summer, and we told my older son that, you know, they were going to go to camp, did they want to do that? He gets this like depressed look on his face, and he drops his shoulders and he goes, are we going to be on the same screen?
Oh, wow.
It was like, that was like his reality. That's what he thought. He's like, oh, I'm going to go to camp with friends like this on a screen. And we're like, no, you're going to go to camp like with other kids. Like, yeah, you're going to be at camp with other kids. Do you want to do that? I was like, yes. You know, thank God, you know, we had a safe summer. You know, there were no cases in the summer. They did a great job testing, you know, over there as well. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and it gave the kids some normalcy. Wow. And, you know, these crazy times.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad they got to go to camp. That's great. Here in Denver, we went from red to orange for the first time since beginning of November, which is great. And it allows for some indoor eating. It allows us to have some more people in our gym. We never went. You've been to our gym. We took it very conservatively. I think we capped it at 12 people out of a potential much more than that. And now we can go a little higher, but we're not going to. But yeah, for the kids' sake, we have 4 nieces under the age of 7, and I don't get to share that on social media. The parents don't want us to share that, so we don't. But most of our life revolves around the kids, and so watching like you said, the new normal for them, we're trying as much as possible. Like, I don't engage in any kind of social activity outside of training people in person, you know, safely, and then seeing the in-laws and the nieces. So we're trying our best to make as normal and as interactive situation for them as possible. So yeah, I'm hoping that it doesn't affect kids too long, this whole situation, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even for myself, you know, it's like, look, obviously we got to make sacrifices. I get it. Mm-hmm. For myself, since I started martial arts in 86, 87, yes, 1986, 1987, this is the longest stretch that I have not been in a martial arts school. You know, they're open, they're safe, they're operating with, you know, masks and, you know, obviously the social distancing, but I can't risk it with my kids. I can't risk it with my parents. You know, it's like, yeah, you you listen to the news, you know, this station reports this station reports that. You don't know what to believe, but you know what the bottom line is? I'm not going to risk my kids or my parents.
Right.
So if I got to give this up for a little bit, then so be it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad to hear you say that. And, you know, I'll make these sacrifices, you know, for the greater good or for the good of all. And, you know, that's one of the reasons this podcast has been so helpful for me personally. I get to talk to people like you, and like, this is my social interaction on our phone, and I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. And it makes me do appreciate when I see a neighbor out walking the dog, and we'll talk for like 10 times longer than normal. You know?
Yeah.
And, I think it's bringing a little bit more courtesy and empathy to everybody too. Like, go to the store and you talk to the clerk. Hey, tell me about you. You know, how are you? And a little more humanity, which is hopefully that carries over moving forward.
Yeah, as much as we have less human contact, it's like we have more interaction.
Yeah.
You know, because when you do see that one person, it's like, oh, sweet, another person. I'm going to talk to them for a little extra longer today so that I'm not just coming back to the same 4 people.
Yes, exactly. I get that. Oh, it's so good. So good.
But yeah, no, it is what it is. You know, you gotta make the most of it. And, you know, when people ask, oh, you're back in the city, how is it? It's like, look, everybody's happy, safe, and healthy. I really can't ask for much more than that.
Totally with you on that. And, you know, there's been a lot of things I've learned of how to help people too, as you have, like we're talking about before we push record, about Zoom and other mediums to help affect people. And I know for the Engearment riders, there's like 30, I lose track, I should know it's better, 35 riders, maybe 40, I don't know, depends if the kids are involved or not. And it's good because it's been a nice outlet, creativity, you know, writing, interacting, you know, creating content for YouTube and videos and such. People are getting much more into it. Like I was helping a person today, a fitness professional, utilize the equipment she already has to make videos for her students, her clients, you know, and how to enable, you know, using these videos through YouTube and link it to an email. Here's your workout, interact via a FaceTime or a Google Duo or whatever, or a Zoom, and affect people safely and keep connected. And I know you're doing a similar thing over there. So I think even moving forward, this is a good opportunity for us to help people outside of our little area. Like you're not in a little area, you're in New York City, but it's nice that you can affect people outside of your area now. So there's cool takeaways like that from this. Yeah,
no, absolutely. 100%. You know, I haven't done too much training with Zoom, you know, really for 2 reasons. One, I just, you know, as much as this is what we have now, I prefer working with somebody live.
Oh yeah.
But also, you know, safely, like a lot of the people that I'm working with now don't necessarily mind being outside in a little bit of the cold, you know, getting some fresh air, you know, working with your mask, keeping the distance, but, you know, they still want, you know, some of that interaction. They don't want everything to be about, you know, being on, you know, being on your iPad, being on your computer. So luckily I've still been able to, you know, to see those, you know, some of those people live. And then getting to, you know, travel a little bit, you know, like you said, coming out to Denver, teaching the flexible steel and, you know, kind of creating that community and, you know, seeing how those people can change other lives as well, you know, whether they're doing it Zoom, whether they're doing it live. So, you know, still get to do that.
Oh, that's great. And I'm with you. I love in person so much more than I do, to be honest. I do love meeting people outside of the metro area for sure, but seeing people in person, there's no substitute for it. And I'm going to give a big shout out to our friend, Modest Yahoo, not the Orthodox Jewish rapper, my Orthodox Jewish friend. And he comes and we train outside in the snow. He'll wear his ski jacket and soft shell pants, and we'll train in the snow outside. And I love it. It's great because people are becoming, at least I know, more hardy, more robust, like embracing being outside. It's great to be outside. And a lot of people we get to work with, their activities are based outside. Skiing, snowboarding, horseback riding, bow hunting, that's all outside in the elements. So it's nice. We get to play in the elements.
And on the other side of that, like most of the people that I train, you know, corporate lawyers, businessmen, they're inside all the time. So the fact that they now get to be outside, it's, you know, this is their hour outside. Ooh. And that's what they, you know, they love that.
That's so great. I love it. It's a healthy outlet. I like it.
Yeah. And it's funny, you talk about the cold, like the only reason that air conditioner is off right now is because we'd be making so much noise that you wouldn't be able to hear me.
I'm
My
with you.
air conditioner is literally like, that's why I'm in a tank top. It's like, I love the cold.
Oh, me too. Oh, well, let's talk about the cold. I love the cold a lot, and that's no secret. Everybody on this channel knows that. Uh, Tell me about your experience with the cold and what you enjoy about it.
Uh, I've, years of snowboarding, years of, when I was skiing at first and then, transitioning to snowboarding. I always just loved the winter.
Mhm.
Maybe it's the December baby that I am, that I was just always kind of drawn to that. It's like, oh God, it's too hot. It's 40 degrees. It's too hot. When is it going to snow?
Yeah.
People joke with me on my Facebook. Like I literally have a countdown. It's right here on the front. Like I know exactly how many days until winter 2021. Constantly have that. What do we got? Winter 2021 is 346 days away. I'm not kidding. I have the countdown.
And for you out there who don't know, winter solstice is the 21st of December. So that's
Yep. I knew exactly when that was. And I think I got more comments on my Facebook page on the 21st than I did on my birthday.
Yes.
Yeah. People just know when it's, when it's winter, it's come talk to me. So just from that, I guess my love of winter sports and, skiing and snowboarding. And, then I got into some of the cold exposure with Wim Hof.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just prefer being cold than sweating my ass off being hot.
I love it. You can always dress to the cold too. Can't really.
I am wearing a tank top.
Literally, yeah, exactly. And I'm wearing merino wool, and my window's open, and it's 26 out right now. So,
yeah,
I like
it's funny. Like my brother, when we come out to Colorado and we go snowboarding, like he'll have on his his heaviest pants, his heaviest sweatpants under it, long johns, his long socks, and he'll look at me. It's like, what are you wearing under your pants? I was like, underwear. It's like, no, and what else? Oh, I've got socks on because I'm wearing boots. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's it. It's like, yeah, and that's why my vents are open. I'm so hot.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about the cold that I find you learn more about yourself in the cold and how you react to it. And I'd rather be in 24/7 blizzard than sitting on the beach.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Not that I don't like sitting on the beach, but if it could snow while I was sitting on the beach, I'd be enjoying that too.
I would join you there for sure. Well, I hit a threshold. You'll laugh at this. I love cold weather camping, and I camp below zero pretty often. I've even got the dogs down below zero several times. And my wife wanted to come with us last Friday. We went to Jones Pass. Ooh, imagine that. Jones Pass. I'm always there.
Where's that? Is that a new place for you?
I just found it. I don't know. My friend Matt told me about it. Checked it out. And I was going to go up there and film some avalanche safety videos with my friends from Friends of Birthday Pass, which is a nonprofit out here. And Birthday Pass is one pass over from Jones Pass, actually. So they actually kind of touch. It's very close. You were really close to Birthday Pass. And we get there, and this was last Friday, about 4 o'clock, and the sun sets here at like 4:30, but in the mountains it's like 3:30 because mountains block the sun. And we had high humidity. You're gonna laugh. The humidity is 50%. That's not very high for you guys, I know, but for us out here, that's really high. So that makes it stick to your bones a little bit more. I'm trying to give my wife all the excuses possible here. So she's with us, and we get there, we get out, and it's 15 degrees, wind chill's like 5. It was cold. So we lasted about 15 minutes, and to save my marriage, I came home.
I joke with people, it can't be cold if it's double digits.
Right. I'm with you on that.
And they're like, wait, what about -11? I'm like, double digits. It's not cold.
Just super cold.
So 9 to -9. That's the only spots it's cold.
That's 10 degrees. Oh, I can appreciate that. I do have one secret hack. If you're going to camp in the winter and you are trying to push your thermal efficiency of a sleeping bag, down pants. They're not very heavy. They're like 10 ounces. And Mountain Hardware sent over a pair of down pants. And it's like wearing sleeping bags on your legs. It's super hot. So I can use a 20-degree bag in 0 degrees and be totally fine.
See, whenever we did, so I'm an Eagle Scout. Mm-hmm. And whenever we went camping in the winter, it was like my sleeping bag. That was it. Same thing. Like stripped underwear. That's what I slept in. Indoors, outdoors with the fire, without a fire, in a lean-to, in the wilderness, building your own shelter. Like, I don't know if my parents just bought me like this amazing sleeping bag that was like super warm, but no matter what bag I had, like first time I went out, it's like, oh, wear all your clothes, put your boots in your sleeping bag. That'll keep them warm. Great. It's like by the end of the night, it's like all of my clothes were in the sleeping bag, and I woke up and it's just like, I'm just in my underwear. And that's, I don't know. I've never felt cold.
Well, you had me beat there. Have you had your DNA tested? Are you a Yeti? What is this?
Yeah, I did. Maybe. I don't know.
I had mine tested. I'm 94% Neanderthal. So you might be up at like 98%.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a distant cousin of,
Not too distant, actually. You're pretty close.
yeah. But yeah, no, I've never, like I said, I've just always gravitated towards the cold.
Oh, I dig it. Do you have any tips or tricks you can teach people about handling the cold? Like Wim Hof, like what have you learned from the Wim Hof method?
It's funny. Like it is a little separate from the Wim Hof, but like I won't notice or feel the cold until somebody says to me, "Hey, aren't you cold?" And it's almost like then it like kind of kicks in that like, well, wait, am I supposed to be feeling cold? Yeah, no, it's definitely a little, no, I now feel the wind. Yeah, no, it feels good, but I still just never get the cold.
Right.
Like I never like just walk out and like, oh my God, I'm freezing. It's like we did our Christmas photo shoot last year. We had snow. Mm-hmm. I was told to put on a jacket so I didn't look weird, but I was still out in shorts and flip-flops.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And that's how some of our Christmas and holiday photo shoot went last year, 2 years ago, because we didn't have Mason. So 2 years ago. But just some of the stuff through the Wim Hof, it's power of the mind. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of it is, just kind of breathing through it. Like if you can get to a point where if you think it's cold, you're going to be cold. Mm-hmm. It's like whether you think you're failed, you're wrong or you're right. I so screwed up that quote.
The Henry Ford
quote. Whether
you
think you can or you can't, you're right. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. That's a good one. Is it Zig Ziglar or Henry Ford? I forget who said that, or maybe both. It's
probably both. Probably both.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Like one of the books that I was reading kind of has a spin on that. So one of the books that I'm reading now is When Violence is the Answer. Mm-hmm. Oh, and he basically goes into the same thing. He's like, if you're being attacked and you think you're going to lose, or the attacker has the power, oh my God, you're going to lose, you're dead. Mm-hmm. Versus, okay, if somebody comes and attacks me, we are equal and I'm going to do whatever I can. Well, then you have a fighting chance. So a lot of it just comes from up here and what is your thought about the situation? And I say the same things with, the martial artists and, when they compete. If they go up to a tournament and they look at the brackets and it's like, oh my God, I'm fighting this person. It's like, there's nothing I can do as a coach. You have already lost because you've already lost up here.
Right. Between the ears. Hmm.
And I, from my experience, that's just what I find with the cold and cold exposure as well.
I dig that. And I can attest what you're saying too about planting a seed. And our friend Eric Frohart had something nice to say about this that really resonated. Calm is contagious, right? So yeah. Is fear. So,
exactly.
You plant a good seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny. He, I believe it was on one of your podcasts where he spoke about, with fear and you get lost in the woods. Humans are the only animals that start to run when they're scared.
That blew my mind. Yeah. That
like, and it's almost like, I think about it, it's like going back to like my martial arts. Like if I'm fighting somebody and I'm down and it's like, oh my God, the time's running out. What do? I just start throwing like crazy kicks. Like I just need to score points versus, all right, let me calm down. Let me react. Okay. No, I got the timer's against me right now, but where can I go in for the kill? Mm-hmm. And it's just really interesting when he heard that. It was like, I kind of had to like rewind, like go back, like, wait, what the hell did he just say? And it was like, yeah, you know what? That's right. Like we get lost in the woods. What do? We start running that way because we think that we're going, oh, no, I'm supposed to run that way. Oh, no, I'm supposed to run that way. Oh, no, I'm supposed to run that way. And then we're even more lost.
Yeah.
Calm down, retrace your footsteps, focus, and you'll find your way.
I'm glad that resonated with you too. There was a lot of things in that conversation that I was like, whoa, Like you
Yeah.
said, rewind, listen to that again a few times. And
Mhm.
to be totally honest, he did a podcast with Brad Kearns about a month ago, and it was even more fascinating than the one I got to have with him. Brad does a great job of asking good questions and navigating and moderating, and Eric just lays out awesome responses. It's worth checking out. I'll put links
Mhm.
in the show notes below for that too. But yeah, that's very helpful. So you've done a lot of breathing techniques.
Yeah.
I get lost with the breathing stuff. The oxygen advantage, Wim Hof. There's a lot to it. Are there a few of your favorite ones you want to share with us?
Lately, I've been diving a lot more into the oxygen advantage and Buteyko.
Ooh, and what is the difference? Because I have not looked enough into that.
Nothing and everything.
Fair answer. Yeah, for that.
So I first went through, okay, backtrack,
Mhm.
ground force method.
Yes.
Part of the course in ground force method, we talk about breathing, and we do like very basic Buteyko breathing. So the founder, the creator of ground force method, Peter Lakatos, is also a Buteyko and oxygen advantage master instructor. He actually has a great course, which I'm starting to go through now, on the ground force method site called Breathe. And he basically goes through a lot of the information. We'll go into some of that as well. So ground force method, we go through some of those breathing techniques. And the first time I went through it, there was a pretty big difference. Like my body started to feel different. And it was like one of those like, whoa, all I did here was breathe. What? Huh? Whoa, why? What's going on? What's going on here? So fast forward a couple of years, I had done some of my own stuff. I had done some stuff with Wim Hof. I was introduced to that from Dave Whitley, actually at actually at the StrongFirst event, at my level. I was assisting him at a level 2.
Oh wow.
And I had to redo, I'd recertify, do everything.
Mhm.
And he knew my history with, I hate the snatch test. So let's go back even further. My first kettlebell event, I had broken my nose a couple weeks before at a tournament. So I was like, all right, look, I'm just going to go through whatever I can.
Mhm.
Well, it was like rep 34, 35 of my snatch test that, well, it just went everywhere. And the guy that was counting just kind of turned around and I was like, I'm still going, like blood dripping down my nose on my shirt, like full Viking moment.
Yeah.
And he's like, stop. I'm done counting. Stop. So since then, since that point, I've always had an issue with the snatch test. So Dave knew this,
Mhm.
had me do a couple of breathing techniques and snatch test, no problem. And that was the Wim Hof stuff. So that was kind of what started me with kind of down that the breathing path. So actually what he had me do was he had me first do some push-ups, do as many push-ups as you can. I don't remember what my number was. Then he had me do 30 of basically the basic Wim Hof breathing breaths, redo your push-ups. And it was significantly more. And I was like, wait a minute, my second set was easier and more than my first set when I was fatigued because I just went to failure. And it was only like a minute or 2 minutes later. So that's what, again, started my kind of dive into this. So now fast forward to ground force method. Part of the course is on breathing, Buteyko breathing. I get invited to go through the oxygen advantage course. Comes full circle. I took my oxygen advantage final while I was in the hotel room before the Copper Triangle.
What?
Yeah. So I was doing some of that breathing for that ride as well. So oxygen advantage is for the exercise in it are geared more towards the athlete.
Mhm.
So then fast forward about another year, I get invited to take the Buteyko course. Now the Buteyko course is almost like, I don't want to say a step under, but the general population course of Oxygen Advantage.
Okay.
So Patrick McEwen, who, was the instructor of the course, studied under Buteyko. Buteyko Clinic teaches the course for general population. Now, how do I apply that towards my athletes with the different nasal breathing techniques? So I've been doing a lot more lately with that. Again, Peter's course online through the GFM site, the Ground Force Method site, called Breathe, and just going through that. And our two tests, our two evals, are what we call your control pause, which is take a normal breath in, normal breath out, pinch your nose, hold your nose. How long can you hold your breath until the first sign that your body gives you that I need to breathe? Contraction of your breathing muscles, the need to swallow, you feel your throat moving. So there's no active component to it. It's not, I'm going to hold my breath until I need to. It's, when does your body tell you, dude, you need to breathe? The second test is, how long can you hold your breath? How long can you push yourself to holding your breath? And we look to get, for the first one, for the control pause, we look to get, between 20 to 25, 20 to 30 seconds. And then based off of that, how do we program breathing for, I'm feeling very anxious? How do we use our breathing to calm you down? How do you, in a case like me, like I pull my nose apart, I pull kind of my nose apart right now, I can breathe fine. But once everything kind of closes up, I can't breathe anymore. And I'm only pinching one side of my nose.
Wow.
As my dad jokes, dude, the left side of your nose is on the right side of your face. My nose like literally slants that way.
Yeah.
So it's how do I get to control carbon dioxide? And because that's the signal to breathe, not the lack of oxygen. It's how much of that buildup. How do I get to control that for a little bit longer? So that's where, there's a ton of techniques just with, some of the box breathing stuff, some of the, pinch or hold, normal breath in, normal breath out, pinch and hold your nose, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, continue breathing naturally. And then we add some faster movements, some head movements into that, some, walking, some paces, can you do 40 paces, 60 paces, 80 paces? But then once you let go of your nose, is it this huffing and puffing to control your breathing again? Or can you just breathe naturally? So there's a whole education series just on that. And there's a whole rabbit hole to, fall into and dive into with that alone.
I am so intrigued. I have up the Ground Force Method right here, the Breathe. It's only $65. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I believe there's 21 or 22 sections of that.
That's awesome. I'm going to sign up for it tonight.
And it also goes into, and this kind of goes back to the FMS. And I know I've heard this through the FMS, and God, how many times I've heard, Dr. Mark Chang say this as well, which translates to like my jujitsu and, uncomfortable positions. If you can't breathe in that position, you don't own that position. So to kind of bring everything back to flexible steel. So some of our 90-90 position or our the rib grab, if you can't breathe in that position, you don't own that position. If you can't, so for level 2, we go into some SOTS pressing, which is basically clean 2 bells, go to the bottom of your squat position, and now press from there. If you're fighting your breathing there, you don't own that position, so you shouldn't even be pressing there. You should just be hanging out there learning how to breathe. Jiu-jitsu, if I'm rolling and I'm in an awkward position and I've got a 250-pound person trying to strangle the shit out of me, but I can't breathe there, I'm done. So being comfortable in those uncomfortable positions.
I love that. And you did mention that in the flexible steel course, I think on day 2, when you demonstrated some of the level 2 stuff, and it totally triggered something in me after that course. I realized, doing, like you said, the rib pull or the bretzel or something like that, if you don't own that position, then the breathing is so important. It made a lot of sense to me when you said it.
Yeah. And it, like I said, it's, it's funny. It was like, when I was in college and I I had to declare a minor, and I was like, all right, I'll minor in English. And people were like, dude, you speak English. What do you need to learn more English? It's kind of the same. It's like with breathing. It's like, well, inhale, exhale. There's a lot more than that. I think on this book, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The books right there are all just about breathing.
Wow. That's so fascinating. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So oxygen advantage and Buteyko breathing through the Buteyko clinic.
Perfect.
Is what I've been trained in.
Wonderful. And Buteyko was named after Ukrainian Dr. Konstantin Buteyko?
Yep.
Awesome. And so I like how you explain this. So that would be more approachable for the general population before they go into the oxygen advantage?
Oxygen advantage, yeah. I mean, you're still doing the same screening and the same tests. It just has different names in the two. And then the exercises change slightly as well. But yeah, for, the person with, lung disease, for here, I've worked with a couple of people that have had, lung issues due to 9/11, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, things like that. How do I use my breathing to control that?
I think the last 3 are very relatable for a lot of people right now. Let's look into that more for everybody's resources. Oh, this is super helpful. I had a client, actually, a student, who's a bow hunter, very good fitness and health, and he turned me on to the oxygen advantage, and he did the test, and he hit like 25 or 30 seconds where, he exhaled and then held his breath, and he got very advanced. And then, so I downloaded the audiobook and listened to it, going to Jones Pass, imagine that. And I tried it at 11,000 feet, and it's harder than it sounds.
Yeah. It's funny because, like I said, going through that final exam for OA at, Copper Mountain, obviously a little bit higher than at sea level. A little bit. And it's like I start and it's like, why am I at 8 seconds right now? What the hell is this? 8 seconds? I can't be at this.
Yeah.
So just changing elevation, how do I mimic that? How do I train at sea level? How do I get the benefits of training at altitude while I'm at sea level? Without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a, hyperbaric chamber.
Right.
How can I do that on my own? And that's what, some of the stuff in OA goes over.
Oh, that's so cool. You're probably the most learned person I know in different areas. It's fun to pick your brain because, like, I've worked with you on some StrongFirst stuff, and then flexible steel, and then I'm going through the online ground force method as well. You have such a vast knowledge base. We were going to do a podcast maybe a month ago, and the night before, I received an email from Pavel Totzelin asking me if I would attend Plan Strong the next day, and 12 hours later. So I'm like, man, I'm so sorry. I need to postpone at least 2 days because I've been invited to take this course. And you were teaching the?
I was auditing the flexible steel Indian clubs course.
Right. That's right.
With James Needlinger. He was, at the time, he was in Hong Kong. He had moved over there. He actually just moved back to the States. Actually, he should be landing any minute now back in Seattle. He had moved over there for an opportunity with his wife, and that was for a set time. And now he's back stateside. And I was just going through the Indian clubs course with him.
That's so
one of the cool things that I like about that course. I've gone through it before. I just wanted to go through it again because it's been a while, and I got to hang out with James too. The on social media, on Zoom. Got to hang out with him in Hong Kong a bit, kind of pick his brain on some stuff as well. And just kind of seeing how the course has changed since I went through it, probably 2-3 years ago. How to teach people, not just, hey, here are the patterns with Indian clubs, go. Mm-hmm. But here's how to teach the patterns, go. So it's a lot more approachable for the students and the attendees and what they can take from it and use with their clients, with their athletes, with their patients, with their students.
I like that. Admittedly, I've owned Indian clubs for 2 years now plus, and I have no idea how to use them. To be totally honest, they're right there. Is there 2 or 3 main movement patterns with them?
There's, in the system that we teach, there's basically two main movements, mm-hmm. rising on the midline and falling on the midline.
Okay.
And then every other pattern is a variation of that. So falling on the midline, if I'm in that home position, it starts down, comes back up. So the midline, the club is falling on the midline. Rising is the other way. Cool. So now I've got 2 clubs rising on the midline, 2 clubs falling on the midline. Parallels, where technically one is rising and one is falling on the midline. Alternating, both are rising on the midline. Alternating, both are falling on the midline. Parallels, arms are now parallel on the midline. And that's an oversimplification of it. There's a lot more into it. It's basically shoulder circles, elbow circles, and wrist circles in a bunch of different planes. And a lot of people just look at it as, oh, it's just this great warm up before my military press, which admittedly, that's how I looked at it beforehand. It's like, all right, great. Every Monday is bench day. Every Wednesday is military press day. So this is what I'm going to do to warm up my shoulders and to keep them safe. But again, as I kind of went down that rabbit hole as well, there's a lot more, to them in that component as well. And the cool thing is, since the last time that I had gone through it, James has taken a lot of the drills from the Flexible Steel 1 and incorporated them into teaching the Indian clubs. So taking like the Egyptians and some of the wrist circles that we did, incorporating them on the floor, and now put a club in your hand while you do it. And guess what? You just learned your snake.
Ooh, nice.
And yeah, it was really, really cool going through that. And there was some stuff that I've been having some trouble over the last 10 years since I've been swinging clubs. Some of the different techniques that I've been having trouble picking up, that as soon as we went through that, it's like, oh my God, there's my snake. Holy crap. That's all I had to do. So it's really cool where that course has gone. So if Indian clubs are something that, you guys are into, I would 100% look into the Flexible Steel Indian Club stuff. Not just because it's part of the system that I'm part of, but because it is, like I said before, it's the only course that I've seen that is not just, here's the patterns, go do them. It's, here's the patterns, here's how to teach them. Mm-hmm. Here are the regressions to getting into them. Yes. Now you go teach them as well.
Regressions, so important. So
I used to joke around, but people are like, no, dude, it's actually serious. Like, every trainer, every strength coach knows how to make something harder. Mm-hmm. It's the good ones that know how to regress those movements and get you to the base of where you need to then go back to that standard.
That's a golden nugget right there. That is, if you're a fitness professional listening to this right now, that is the golden nugget right there.
No. And then unfortunately though, sometimes, you see the coaches, or, you see the trainers out there that it's like, oh, how do I progress something? And it's either one of two things: take away a base of support or make it heavier. And then you start to get into like the circus tricks. It's like, oh, well, jump on a Bosu ball, jump on this.
With a blindfold.
Do a stability. Yeah. Well, it's funny. There's actually a lot to, just doing stuff with your eyes closed. or doing stuff blinking, even some basic movements, like do a bicep curl with your eyes closed, do a bicep curl where you're blinking both eyes together, do a bicep curl where you're alternating which eye blinks. It totally changes the stimulus in the brain.
Yeah.
But some people just think, oh, you know, I need to keep my client, I need to keep my student entertained. And they do the stuff where it's like, dude, risk versus reward. And in their mind, risk versus reward is keeping the client, losing the client, not what's going to get them to their goal.
Ooh, this is another golden nugget. Now let's refer back to our mentor and friend, Brett Jones. He had a great line, and I hope I don't mess it up. Results are entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fortunately, over the last 15 years of training people, the people I get to work with now are more focused on the result. Do they get to go ski and or run? Do they get to play with their kids or grandkids? Do they get to move well? They're more concerned with this, thank goodness, than they are with, oh, we did something really cool for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a hard thing for people to understand, especially newer trainers. There's a lot of entertaining that goes into some of what we do, but it doesn't have to be flashy or dangerous, like you said. Like safe and effective, and then make the pirate joke or something entertaining. You know, you can do that. That's fine, but don't endanger the people you're serving.
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
You'd think it'd be R, but is this he's in love with?
Oh, I knew I'd get a dad joke in. You ever see a giraffe throw up?
No, I have not.
It takes forever. And I'm cutting myself off now.
No, I love it. I'll give you one for your kids if they haven't heard this one yet. What did the pirate say when he turned 80? I'm matey. 80.
Yeah.
And we are late.
Waiting for my wife to come out, be like, you guys are done. Get off the phone.
86.
That's cool. No, it's they hated me for this, but there were so many people when I was working for corporate clubs that literally just thought that this job as a strength coach, I don't even want to call him a strength coach, as a personal trainer it was the gateway until the next big thing. It was what I can do now until my passion comes along. It's, again, not to knock this position as well, but they looked at it as the waiter waitress job, just something I can do now to make some money because I know how to train myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where I stopped learning trainers' names until they were with us for at least 6 months. Right. It's like, so I'm not gonna invest my time in you if you just think this is a joke. Like, this is my career. Clearly, I've put some money into this. You know, I have a master's in this. Like, this is my career. Mm-hmm. Today is the 8th. Yesterday, I believe it was yesterday. Either yesterday or today is exactly 5 years since the Stafford Strength LLC has been born.
Nice, dude. Congrats. Yeah,
thank you. And this is like 15 years. 15 years that this has been, this has been my job. This has been my career. And that's what it is. It's my career. It's not just what I'm going to do now.
Oh, I love that, Matt. And I'm with you. Going on 15 years myself. And I left a corporate job in an office with a cubicle, with slacks and a button down, with decent money, good money, 401k, insurance, benefits, stability, whatever that is, right? What is that? It's perception. To pursue this, to serve people, to enrich their lives, that is more meaningful than a holiday bonus. Although I do get some pretty cool holiday bonuses from people in unique ways. But
yeah, no, it's cool. My first degree was in TV video production.
That's so crazy.
That's what it was like. I literally, like, during the X Games, I wanted to be the guy with the camera mounted on my belly, following the guy in the half pipe, coming down slowly behind him. And at the time, like, I was doing a little bit of that. I was working in sports. Funny story about that in a second. But I was also, at the time, I was fighting full time. So Taekwondo and competing I was competing once to twice a month. Mm-hmm. So my now father-in-law was basically like, hey, this building over here is going to be a gym. Why don't you go train? You live in a gym anyway. You're training all the time. Like, dude, do this.
Right.
And that was kind of the kickstart. I literally passed my certification the day before the gym opened. I had put in my, my applications and paperwork. And it was funny, like some of the people that I'd interviewed with at that time had been training for 15, 20 years. And I had never trained a client. And I looked at the guy that hired me and I was like, why did you pick me? And he's like, these people were all set in their ways. And I can see your passion about the industry, that you're willing and open to learn different things. Mm-hmm. So I thank him for that opportunity. And here I am today.
Oh, I love it. And you're a true testament to this too. You are able to pull from different tools in your toolkit when applicable. Like, yep. So to give you a little bit of background, if this is your first time learning about Matthew, he has gone through StrongFirst SFGI and II. Now that's and then StrongFirst Lifter and StrongFirst Bodyweight. So he's been through the gamut of StrongFirst, and that's just in that world. Then there's flexible steel. Then the Indian gloves. Then there's ground force method. There's a host of things that Matthew has learned that he can apply to anybody immediately. It's a wonderful skill set he's acquired.
It's funny. There was a point, and I actually still think it may be true, with all the letters that you can put after my name. It's like Q and Z are the only two that aren't there.
You don't have Q and Z? What's wrong with that? Come on.
Yeah, I know. I got to find those. Find me some Q and Z certifications. Z Health. There we go.
Nailed it.
It's people like, oh no, you got to focus on this, you got to focus on that. It's like, yeah, well, as much as I love this implement or this system, it may not work with this person that comes to me. Mm-hmm. So I need to find a thing that's going to work with them. So yeah, I teach for all these different organizations, and yeah, I'm part of all of these different organizations. But for me, none of them are the end all be all.
Right.
End all be all is what's going to work for this, this athlete, this student, this patient that comes into me. Yeah, I'm going to try to go this route because this is the system that has worked for me and the majority of the people. But hey, if it doesn't work for this person, I've got to find out what does.
Right.
I'm not just going to say, oh, well, hey, I can't work with you. Be gone. Mm-hmm. There are some people that, yeah, it's out of my scope of practice that I can't. But for the person that comes to me, I want to find what's going to work with them, because that may fix a hole or a gap somewhere else. Mm-hmm. That, you got to find the linchpin. What's going to be the one thing that puts everything into place? For this person, it's going to be A. For this person, it's going to be B. For that person, it's going to be A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. And, that's just kind of how I've taken it. Everyone's like, oh, you want to be, you're going to be the jack of everything. And, you're not going to understand one thing. It's like, good. I don't want to just understand one thing. I don't want to be known as one thing. I'm a strength coach.
Yeah.
I use everything and find out what works for you and what works for you.
Oh, I love that. And if you're a fitness professional listening to this is fantastic advice from a person 15 years in. And this makes sense. This is how I see it as well. What is the analogy? I forget the wording, that if you only know one thing and you're a hammer, everything you see is a nail, right? Like you just apply your tool to that. But in your toolkit, you should have more than just a hammer. Please. Yeah. Have a big, nice variety of tools. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's in martial arts, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, but I want to find, hey, sometimes you're not a nail, sometimes you're a Phillips head, sometimes you're a screw, and I need to know which screwdriver is going to work for that.
Right.
Yeah. The nail, the hammer is going to work, but at what expense?
It might break something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, now I also don't want to be the person that you need fitness, you need this in your life. I don't want to be the person that, just jams everything down your throat and now you don't like it anymore.
Right.
Because I know what this is going to do for your life, for your quality of life, for the length of your life. I don't want to be the person that kind of takes that away from you just because this is what I know, this is what I need you to do, and blah, 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 blah. No. I want this to be fun for you, and I want this to be a part of your life for the rest of your life.
Oh, well said. True professional. I love it. Oh, Matthew, this is great. I have 1 page of digital notes and 2 pages of written notes. That's what I've been doing. You're not talking, or when you're talking, I'm just taking frantic.
That's it. That's all you have?
Well, I have this as notes as well. I always listen to it again before I post it. Well, this is super helpful. So what are you working on this year, 2021? What's coming up?
Oh, what am I working on now? The main goal, so like you said before, I've been through all of the StrongFirst courses. I did not pass the SFL last time I went through it. So Chicago in April, as long as travel is still applicable or acceptable, or open rather is what I should say, I'll be at the Dome going for my SFL, shooting for StrongFirst Elite.
Nice.
What else is on? It's funny. It's been on my to-do list since I became a trainer 15 years ago, and I finally finished the course literally last night. I went through Buddy Lee's jump rope course. I met him at the U.S. Open for Taekwondo in, maybe 2005. He was sitting there. He had a booth at the, with all the other sponsors, and he was going through his, crazy jump rope thing. And there was this little kid in front of me with a piece of paper and a pen, just looking at him like jaw open, like, oh my God, what is this guy doing? And he's sitting there jump roping, and he just looks at the kid. He's like, "You want an autograph?" And the kid just shakes his head, yes. He continues what he's doing. He throws his rope up in the air, grabs the paper, signs it, hands it back to the kid, catches his rope, and then just keeps going like nothing happened.
What? That's a thing.
And I'm just looking at him like, can I get an autograph too? And he's like, "You're too old, kid." And I was like, I need to go through this.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. It's, again, same thing, how do I incorporate just, his system with some of my clients that, don't necessarily want to run or, how can I incorporate that and potentially give that to, one or two of my clients as well? And how can I incorporate that for myself as well?
Good point.
So that's cool. Anything that I do, I'm always the first guinea pig.
Yes.
Because if I'm doing something and one of my students says, "Oh, well, am I supposed to feel this?" I can't turn to them like, "I don't know. I've never done this." I can't do that. Yeah, I don't have their experience, but I need to have the experience on what I'm putting them through. I can't teach them something if I can't do it myself.
Of course. No, I'm with you on that 100%. I think you might remember coming over here. We had a really fun time playing a very vulgar card game. That's not our time, but the mirrors are right here with all the notes. And so I go through all the drills and exercises myself before you apply them to people. And so I have notes of like what I enjoy about it, who is this good for, and so forth. And yeah, anybody who teaches has to know the systems inside and out before they teach these things.
Yeah, especially if you're going to teach it to somebody else. But I'm not going to be like, oh, turn around and be like, "Hey, well, great. I just went through this course, so now I'm going to be an instructor for Buddy Lee." No, but I want to be able to teach the course the same way he teaches it to me. I need to be able to teach it to my student. I need to be able to express that exact same thing. What are the benefits of this movement? Why am I doing the twister versus the full twister? Why am I doing a forward jump versus a backward jump? Why am I doing the bell jump versus, heel toe? I need to be able to explain that, not just when I was working for the corporate gyms and I would have to go through some of the newer trainers' programs to promote them within the levels. The only answer that they could not give me, if I said, "Well, why are you doing this exercise?" The only unacceptable answer was, "Oh, well, because this machine was open." If you can explain to me why you're doing what you're doing, there's nothing that I can say. I can't say, "Well, no, you're wrong." I can say, "Well, hey, I may do this because I have this experience, but I'm not going to tell you, no, your program's wrong." You could come in and do an eval with me and 10 other StrongFirst instructors. You may get 10 different programs. You may get 9 different programs. What have I been through that they haven't been through? What are my experiences? What are the lenses that I'm looking at your eval? And what are the lenses that they're looking at it through? What do I think is going to be the linchpin for whatever your problem is, or the linchpin to get you to your goal? What do they think that linchpin is going to be? So there's it's a science. There's a lot that goes into it.
There is.
And I want to try to equip myself with as much knowledge, not just to well, you come into me. I don't want to look like the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That's a great. Love that.
I want to. I've had people that have come in and have said to me, pose this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, I'll get back to you. I'll email you later tonight. I want to do a little bit more research on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I always want to, learn about it. So that's kind of what to go back to the initial question, what am I doing in 2021? I'm just trying to learn and look at some of the different systems out there that I think will help the population, the athletes, the people that come to me.
I love it. That's great advice.
So I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing some of that, and always looking at some of the business stuff too. I think we spoke about this. So somebody had once asked me, I was working with a business coach at one point, and one of the exercises that they had the group doing was, who are your competitors?
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody was looking at the other gyms and the other coaches, the other personal trainers in their area. And, I had that listed, and then I had one listed, and everyone kind of looked at me when I said it out loud, and they're like, they are not your competitor. And I'm like, they are my competitor. And they're like, how is Disney your competitor?
Ooh, yeah.
And I was like, well, you just got a bonus. Are you going to spend it on extra training, or are you going to spend it on taking your family to Disney? So yeah, if that comes up in the conversation, they're my competitor.
Wow.
So kind of diving into some of that, some of the, Disney has a business institute. So I want to go through a couple of their, leadership and business courses. So that's also on the 2021 agenda.
Ooh, I dig that. That's some good perception you have there too. You would like this. Actually, a month before or after you were out here, we hosted a coach's course, and it's only for coaches either in our gym or around the area who wanted to be associated with our gym. And both Dan and Ryan, who I think you've met Ryan, Dan's retired captain in the Air Force, and Ryan's retired Navy, and they've both been through a Landmark, like a business mentorship program. And it was really cool because on the second day, they asked this question, like, why are you a fitness professional? Like, and then they asked again, why? And they went down 7 times. And this is like in a psychological profiling. Your wife know all about this. The 7 whys, you get down to the 6th why, you might cry, the 7th why, you're like real, like your earth is shaken. But I think it's important people evaluate why they do things, and I think you have a very strong why. And it's very evident how much research and how much dedication you have into learning more. And you're a great coach.
Thank you. Yeah, we in precision nutrition we talk about the 5 whys. Most people, it's like the first reason that they give is like the mirror reason. Why are you doing this? Oh, I want bigger arms. Well, why do you want bigger arms? Oh, because I like the way I look in a bathing suit. Oh, well, why? And once you get down to that, you got to find the emotional level of why they're doing something. And like you said, it's usually the reason that makes them cry.
Yeah.
It kind of brings a tear to their eye. It's like, yeah, no, I need to do this. At one point, a lot of people that were coming to me, it's like their why was, I want to be around for my grandkids.
Good why.
And, I've probably said more than my share of things that HR would look at and be like, yeah, that's a big no-no. Look, I remember telling one client that I work with, what he did in the gym was 100% on point with his goal. And his goal was to be there to be able to pick up and run around with his granddaughter. That he came to me literally 3 months after his first granddaughter was born. But everything that he did outside the gym was not to that goal.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the complete opposite. And he would come to me and is like, no, the PC way of saying everything just didn't click with him. It was just like, oh yeah, no, I get that. And then literally 10 seconds later, it was like the complete opposite. And I finally looked at him and I said, dude, do you want to see your granddaughter graduate high school, or do you want your son to be your pallbearer? And it was like, fuck, you're right, dude. Okay, this is what I need to do. And it changed on a light switch. Yeah, there are some people that I could have said that to that would have fired me on the spot. But you know what? It's what they needed to hear at that point in time. And it's what flipped the light switch for them.
That's very perceptive. You're a good coach. You know how to read.
Yeah. Thank God it worked.
Right. High risk, high reward.
But yeah, like you said, going back to that, it's the whys. If the reason you're doing something is because somebody else told you to do it, you're not going to be successful. No. So the people that I really sleep. Am I putting you to sleep? The people that I've always found the hardest to work with are the people that come in that say, it's like, oh, well, what are you doing here? Oh, my wife says I need to lose 15 pounds. Oh, my doctor says I have this and I need to, okay, cool. They'll buy a couple sessions, they'll buy a package, and then it's like they're gone because they're not invested in it. Mm-hmm. They're not vested in what they've got no skin in the game.
Yep.
But the people that come in with like the deep reasons for why they're doing something, it's for them. Mm-hmm. Hey, I need to do this because I want to be there for my grandkids. I want to do this because I need to make this team. I want to be here because I don't want to die young. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that are going to continue with it, stick with it. And I don't want to say that I can like mold them into what I want, but like what I tell them, they're more susceptible to and more receptive to doing. Mm-hmm. And they'll stick with it and they'll get the goals and the results that they're looking for, whether it's a short-term goal, whether it's, hey, I just need to get into this, little black dress for my high school reunion, or whether I want to live past 60.
Right. No, that's very perceptive. Intrinsic goals. It comes from within. Yeah. They own it. Yeah.
Exactly. They've got, like I said, they've got skin in the game.
Oh, well said. Yeah, fortunately, I get to work with people much like that too. I don't get people who are like, my wife told me to be here. Not anymore, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, there were some people at one point, there were people that would come in, there were women that would come in, and it was like, this is what my husband wants me to look like. It's like, oh, dude, I can't. You're going to quit. Yeah. Well, actually, you're not going to quit because your husband's going to force you to stay. But like, it's not going to work.
No.
What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we'll work towards. And maybe this goal will, this will be the outcome of it. But yeah. you gotta do it for you. You split board because you love it. If you were doing it because somebody else told you, held a gun to your head and said, hey, this is what you have to do, you wouldn't love it. Your heart wouldn't be in it. You wouldn't want to do it. It would be a chore. It would be work.
Yeah. Well stated. That hit home. Yeah. I miss split boarding. I need to go split boarding.
Sorry if I struck a nerve.
You did. That was good. Good job, coach. Good job.
Anytime.
Oh, that was good. Oh, this is really fun. But you know what?
What do you got going on in 2021? Enough about me. Well, let's talk about you, Sean.
Thank you for asking the question. I appreciate that. I am going to create some courses. I realize, cool. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to create some for students and some for professionals. I'm going to create, came to my attention this week, a lot of people can use some help with creating, at your background as well, good quality audio, video, and presentation. So helping people in our industry and other industries have service industries, how to create good quality video, audio, YouTube videos, website, SEO, and teach them how to do this to maintain their business and grow it internationally. So I'm going to put together a course on that, and then put together a home fitness course, how to use your body weight, which you and I know how to do very well, how to incorporate mobility drills, again, something you know very much about, and then suspension trainers. I got 2 right there behind me, and then kettlebells, which are in stock as of the recording today. Might not be tomorrow, but I have a link below so you can get some. And it's been very fortunate this year to help a lot of people build their home gyms, their garage gyms, outside gyms, whatever it is. And so put together a course, how to utilize those tools and train effectively at home, Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm going to do that. already had the Mountain Fitness School up, so I learned the platform of how to put together a teachable course. And like you said, like the breathe thing, go through multiple chapters, video, homework, next chapter, complete this, move forward. So I think that, and then it's interesting too, like as Engearment, this month would be really focused on the outdoor retailer show. So that would be the biggest show in this hemisphere for, Patagonia, North Face, and thousands of other companies would be here in Denver presenting in a booth what's coming out for 2022, basically.
Okay.
And so that can't happen right now, obviously. So I have meetings set up with a plethora of companies, January, February, March, going through their catalog of stuff coming out for about this time next year. And so, yeah, work with them, interview them, and learn what's coming out, and then get that into my writers' hands, men, women, kids, all ages, get them testing the gear, create content for it, and then go splitboarding, like you mentioned, go splitboarding. So those are my goals for 2021. Yeah.
Very cool. So the course, is it going to be like a subscription thing where like monthly you put up more stuff, or is it going to be like, one time you're getting all, one-time course, you're just getting all my info?
Good question. I've toyed with the idea of subscription. I have some clientele I train subscription based. It's like a retainer, right? Which is fantastic. Yeah. So I might offer that. And then I do like creating content very often. For me, it's a nice outlet to things improve all the time. There's best practices to be learned. But what I think I'll probably offer both. Long answer. One-time fee, here's the course, download it, share it with your colleagues and your friends and the family, improve your business, or share it with your friends and family, improve your health and wellness. If you want to maintain a relationship moving forward, I'm happy to offer more content, more value, each month.
Like a mentor type ship.
Yeah. And I love being the mentor role. I didn't ever think about being a mentor role, but I find myself in that more often than not. And I love coaching and helping and teaching and enabling people to be their best self. So yeah, I think that'd be fun to be a mentor monthly.
Very cool.
Yeah. Thanks for planting that seed. I appreciate that. The first person to ask me that. So I appreciate it.
It's only, we're only, oh my God, it's only the 8th.
Yeah. It's the new year.
Yep. So, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So what, so that'll be like you're going to set up a separate website for that, or?
I don't think so. I've toyed with the idea of more websites, but I think 6 is enough. So I think I'm just going to.
That's it?
Yeah, just 6. Yeah, I've had more. I'm letting a few of those go. I literally, no joke, I own 20 website domains. And so
I own one.
Yeah, no, one's enough. Let me tell you, if you can streamline and just make it, I was talking to Pat Flynn about this. He's like, should I have more than one YouTube channel? I'm like, no, you are Pat Flynn. People like Pat Flynn. They like your music, they like your philosophy, and they like your fitness, right? So people like Matthew Flaherty. You don't need to create 20 different things. People know you. They'll come to you for your services, and they can be vast. They don't have to be just one thing. Like you mentioned, you have a lot of tools in your toolkit. Sean Sewell is not just kettlebells or death metal or splitboarding, right? There's more content to there. So I'm trying to keep it as refined as possible, as beneficial as possible, and simplify.
Cool. What's on the education plan for you? Any courses or anything that you're, other than obviously flexible steel, anything you're looking to go through this year?
Oh man, I appreciate that. Whatever Pavel puts out, I'll take. I love learning from him. I need to learn more about Indian clubs. I'll probably take the course you recommended. I have it in my notes right here. And then I just did Plan Strong. Here it is. My homework. It's not thin, guys. It's a lot of work.
Oh, that's a thin manual compared to the one I have.
Oh, really? It's substantial. Look at these charts.
Oh, that was a mind-numbing course. That was a great course on programming. But that was one. I was sitting in the hotel lobby at 3 a.m. with some of the other instructors, like Val Headland, with Mike Sousa, just like dropping my calculator and pencil and just thumb in the mouth, sucking my thumb, rocking back and forth because I can't do this. It was heavy, but it was real good. It's definitely changed my program for clientele that use that.
Right. Very specific.
That was a good course. That was a real good course.
It is. And it was the most, like you said, most mentally challenging course I've ever taken, which was nice. A lot of courses are physically based, some, a lot of theory as well. But this one, I'll show you my tool for that course.
Well, I think also because the way Pavel goes through stuff, it's not, yeah, exactly.
That was it.
It's not just here's what we do, go do it. Mm-hmm. It's this is what we do. This is the end goal you're going to get. We're going to reverse engineer it so that you understand the whole process, mm-hmm. not just here's the end process. And you go through it from there. So right. He really wants to make sure that you understand every aspect of the programming component of it, and not just here's my protocol, go do it with other people.
Right. You know what? This came up last week talking with our friend Sven. He was awesome. He was fascinating. And Sven, I'd love to hear more about your interaction with Sven. But in a nutshell, it was StrongFirst is one of probably the only certifications, well, probably one of a few certifications I know of that you continually learn after it's over. It's not over on Sunday afternoon. It keeps going. You keep learning and you keep interacting. You keep building your resources, your relationships with other instructors out there and in the world, not just in America, internationally. And it's fascinating. I love it. But tell me about your interaction with Sven.
Well, let's go back to that point, and then we'll talk about that. Literally one of my favorite, StrongFirst shirts is StrongFirst School of Strength, and on the back it says "You never graduate."
Ooh, yeah, that's great. It's true.
You always look to learn. Any other certification that I've gone to, it's like literally when closing bell hits on Sunday, you go your separate ways, and that's it. Mm-hmm. It's like, with a StrongFirst cert, you literally have that Monday morning depression.
Yeah.
Been with people, their family. And that's one of the things why I've been with them for so long is just the huge community aspect of it.
It's true. If you have not attended a StrongFirst event, you don't know. When you do, you will know.
Exactly. Like I joke with people like, well, what's your favorite thing about StrongFirst? It's like my birthday. The wishes start coming in from Japan, and literally through the end of the day, it's just like you can literally look at my feed and it's just the world from east to west.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is.
It's so awesome.
Like family. It is like, yeah, to your point, it is family.
It is. Sven. So there was this was my first time meeting him. There was he had posted on Facebook that he was in New York and they were looking for a place to eat. Any food recommendations? And I literally just responded, "Where are you? Stay there. I'll be there in 20 minutes." And he told me what corner he was on, and 20 minutes later I took the subway over and we went to some Cuban place for dinner.
Oh, how fun!
And, him and a couple of people that he was in with.
That's so cool.
Had a great dinner, had a couple of drinks, just kind of, again, talking about the community, talking about StrongFirst, talking some shop, talking life, and that was it. And that was literally my first interaction with Sven.
Oh, I love it. He's such a cool person. He's so kind and so fun to talk with.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. He was a real cool guy. I would love to work with him again in the future. I'd love to actually to work with him other than just, having dinner with him.
Right. And again, this is a testament to StrongFirst. And if you get a chance to take a course, just take them. Take a class or take the certification if you're an instructor. Or not, you know what? Actually, there's 2 grocers here in Denver, like local grocers who took the certification and they're not even instructors. They just wanted to take the certification, and they did. They both passed.
You'd be surprised how many, beginning of the certification day one, if it's a fairly small group, or even when we get into teams, let me know who you are, why you're here, what you hope to accomplish. And at every single event that I've been at, there's at least one in every single group that I've been part of that, you know what, I just wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to go through it. I heard it's a cool community, so I just wanted to be part of it. Exactly. Do you teach? No, I'm a banker. No, right. I'm a corporate lawyer. No, I just, wanted to challenge myself and, kind of be part of this organization. I've heard great things about it.
Yep.
And it's mind blowing. You don't find that with, I don't think, any other course that I've been through. Maybe one here and there, but not as consistent as with StrongFirst.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I can't think of any course I've been in the last 15 years where it wasn't for professional development for a person in our industry. To bring in people outside of the industry to take certification because they want to be part of the community speaks volumes.
And that's one of the, like I said, one of the key components that, I believe Fabio has really worked hard to maintain, maintaining that, even the instructors here in the US, it's unbelievable. I could probably go anywhere in the world and, just write in the group, hey, I'm in so-and-so, what's there to do? And like Sven, like I did with Sven, I'm everywhere. There'd be somebody, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Let me come and meet you. We'll, we'll go around, or, hey, you can come crash with me. It's an unbelievable community.
It really is. It's so true. It's hard to even like put it in words because there's so many ways we can go with this angle. Back in November, I had the great honor of working with Pavel at our gym, the other location here in Denver. And we did the Strong Endurance event, and it was total full circle. I did my SFG in 15, I believe, and Czar Horton was the master instructor. And Czar as a fireman, he's a badass. He's a beast of a human being, and it was so amazing. I get a message, what kind of coffee do you want? And Czar brought me coffee. I was like, what? No way. This is the guy, And so Czar and I are having coffee, swapping snacks, and got to work with Pavel directly, mic him up with my lavalier microphone, using the cameras we're using right now to record the Strong Endurance event in our gym. And looking around the room, there's all of the mentors and heroes and the people that we, at the very beginning, we look up to and admire, read their articles on the forums and on the page for StrongFirst, and in the books, in the Quick and the Dead, and the Simple and Sinister, and all the books, and then they're here now in the room, and you're sharing space with them, and they're just down to earth and great people. There's Derek Tosh, brother Ryan right there, and there's, like I said, Czar, and there's Pavel, and there's Amanda Kennedy right here. It's an amazing community. Yeah,
I remember one of I think it was the second time that I was at the Dome in Chicago, which was the third Dome, Dome 3. I was sitting at lunch, and I just remember Derek Doshner coming over, just sitting down, introducing himself. Hey, do you mind if I sit with you? And just starting up a conversation. He could have gone and sat with any of the other instructors that he's known for years. And, just kind of came over and, sat with me, talked some shop, and that kind of, that started that friendship.
Oh, it's amazing. What a great guy he is too.
He is. Him and Ryan are pretty awesome.
They are. It was funny. They joked you should come to Wisconsin and visit our mountains. And I took him. I'm very naive. I'm from Nebraska originally, right? I'm like, I'll come to Wisconsin and see your mountains. He was joking. They don't have mountains in Wisconsin. But he does a lot of mountaineering. He did the went up Grand Teton twice, back-to-back days. And he took one of his students up there. He came back, and that student was actually in the Strong Endurance event.
I believe one year the leadership meeting was in Italy, and him and his brother went there early to go climb the Dolomites.
Badass.
Yeah. His facility, I've seen some photos of it. His facility, I'd love to get up there to do one of the courses up there.
Absolutely. It's so cool.
Derek, invite me.
Derek, invite me too. I'll come up there.
Yeah, right. No, they're good guys. Derek and Ryan, TNT Fitness.
Very cool stuff.
Mhm.
Well, it is Friday night. It is 10 p.m. your time. Um,
40, man. We can go to. You were done. I'm going to bed.
I
Honestly, like, there's nothing to do. It's like, everything indoor dining has been shut down again.
oh
Uh, oh wait, I got two kids sleeping. I can't leave anyway. Um,
yeah.
no, but it's fine. You know what? It's whatever. Nice Friday night on the couch. Honey's working. My wife's working. The pups are being crazy. Well, now I'm driving them crazy. Um,
Is Wednesday sneezing over there?
yep. Come here, Sneezy. Come here.
Oh, before we push record, it's fun. You're talking about Honey coming to a StrongFirst event and meeting Alex, the Hebrew Hammer, sulking and chatting it up. And Alex has been on this show several times. He probably will be next week. Pat Flynn and I are going to do an episode. I'm sure Alex will crash it. And he's a hoot, just a really fun guy.
Yeah, I first met him actually it was like the first or second flexible steel up in Minneapolis at the Hotel of America.
Classy.
Yeah, well, no, like there's a water park in the hotel.
Hmm.
It's basically like the same size as the Mall of America. It was the Hotel of America.
Oh, geez.
Um, so the first day was the flexibility stuff that John did.
Mm-hmm.
And the second day, the strength stuff was some of the old time strongman stuff that Dave Whitley did.
Right.
And, Alex was there and, we built a friendship there. And then he came to New York. I don't remember if he was one of the assistants or if he was a participant, but when OS was in New York.
And that's original strength for listeners out there.
Original strength. Had gone through that. He was there again. I don't remember what his role was there, but just chatting. And I remember he kept asking. He's like, "Is your wife coming to dinner?" And it kind of got to the weird point. I was like, "Dude, why do you keep asking if my wife is coming to dinner?" And when she came, she loves to come to the events and meet people and chat and just not talk shop because she's like, "I'm not a trainer. I don't want to talk trainer stuff anymore." But he was just like, they were just talking just about being Jewish and birthright and all of that. And she was content for the night. I was talking to everybody else and we had a good night.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, to Alex's credit, so backstory, my first gym I built inside a Jewish law firm. I worked in a Jewish law firm, Brownstein Height, Farber Schreck. Be 22 years here next month. And I don't work there anymore. I worked there in the mailroom, then IT and accounting before I left to become a personal trainer professionally. Long story longer, I did not know the full story of Hanukkah until Alex, the Hebrew Hammer, had a podcast about it here beginning of December of last year. Did a great job explaining it. It was beautiful. And it's nice to know more about that history. Yeah. He's a very entertaining person, and he accused you of starting the fires.
Yeah, apparently I'm the one that started the fires in Colorado. Thanks, Alex. Yeah.
Not proven.
Whatever.
Oh, so Original Strength. So, Original Strength was founded. Was it Tim who founded it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm blanking on his last name too. I keep saying Tim Armstrong, but that's the guitarist that Rancid.
Touché. I will find it.
Yeah.
So, can you elaborate on what Original Strength is?
Book is right here. It's gone through so many different iterations since I've gone through it. When I went through it, one of the big things that we did was crawling. Mm-hmm. And basically just how groundwork is your base for any of your strength stuff. It's like we go back to the FMS. Mm-hmm. Level 1 is stability. If I can't just hold a push-up or hold a tall plank, I have no business doing a push-up.
Right.
So OS, from when I went through it, was just building that foundational level, and using those different crawling patterns as your different resets, and to build that base level of strength. I'm probably not doing it justice because, to be honest, it's probably been 9-10 years since I went through it. Well, let's see. I wasn't married at the time, and we'll be married now 10/22/11. We're in 20. We'll be married 10 years, so it's been at least 10 years.
Wow.
That I went through OS. So I don't really know the how it's changed and what it is about now, because like I said, I've gone through and I've gone a little bit more down the GFM, ground force method rabbit hole.
Fair.
Same stuff, just different system, different base. I know, GFM, what really stood out to me was the rooting in FMS.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, when he's on next week, Alex can definitely talk more to what OS is now.
Fair enough. It's Tim Anderson and Jeff Newport. Yep.
And Jeff Newport was, I believe, part of that original crew as well.
Makes sense. I met Jeff my first time at Strong Endurance and gave him one of these, the San Pellegrino.
Never met Jeff.
He was a very nice guy. He lives in Colorado Springs with his family. I should have Jeff on.
He's in Colorado Springs?
Yeah, he's just down the street, an hour.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've been to Colorado Springs once.
Yeah.
It's very flat. It's weird. You get off the airport and you look, like, wait, is that Colorado? Oh, the mountains are over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did a week training at for Taekwondo. I trained at the Olympic Training Center for a week for a summer camp.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a kind of an invite camp that I put in an application, got picked, and went through.
You've been invited to a lot of things.
Got to train there with a couple people that wound up going to the Olympics for Taekwondo. I was the oldest. It's crazy. I was actually the oldest at the camp by far. At the orientation, they're like, all right, anybody here 21 or over? We just need to know about going off campus. And I was like the only one that raised my hand. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere. You guys are going to kick my ass this weekend. 3-a-days. I'm the old guy. I ain't going anywhere.
3 days? That's
yeah. Morning was our strength training, our some light pad work. Afternoons were our intense drills, and then the evening was all sparring.
Wow, that's intense.
And literally, like I picked the biggest heavyweight so that I could take a shot and not get scared, and not if I could take a shot from you, I can take a shot from anybody. And then I picked the smallest person, because if I've got to chase you around, I know my cardio is going to go through the roof.
That's good logic.
And smallest person, Charlotte Craig, actually was a 2012 Olympian. So I got my ass kicked by an Olympian.
That is deserving.
Multiple Olympians, but yeah. Actually, Paige McPherson was also at that. She was in Rio. Paige McPherson, Stephen Lambden, who was also in Rio. He was the male heavyweight. He was actually our first heavyweight, I believe, ever to be to go to the Olympics. Yeah. So that was a good time. Again, if you're not the best person, or if you are the best or the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
And that's a good takeaway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be the strongest, smartest, or best person in the room. You can't learn. There's nowhere to improve.
Exactly. And that's what it is. If you want to be that person, if you want to be the head honcho and the bad tough guy and the guy that everybody looks up to, then yeah, you're in the right room. But if you're in that room to learn something, you're in the wrong room.
That is a very good takeaway. Well, Matt, we need to do around 4 or 5, whatever it is.
Fourth time on what podcast is this? What number? Because that's how many times I've been mentioned now.
It's like, I think it's 80 or 81. And you
Wow.
mentioned at least twice per episode. So
Yeah.
So 160 times.
Honored.
Yeah. You're always a fun person to hang out with, especially in person, which I can't wait to do.
Who's next? Who else is in the pipeline coming on the podcast? I want to be the first to know.
All right. I'm going to pitch you. I'm going to try and so I work with Patagonia pretty often, and
Okay.
My most recent review was shared company-wide again, And I don't know if Yvonne is still on board day-to-day operation. If he is, then there's a good chance he might have seen that email. And if he did, awesome. And I would love to have Yvonne Chenard on the show, founder of Patagonia.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be amazing. For first place tie, Pavel. I'd love to have Pavel on.
Okay.
And I'd love to have round 2 with Brett Jones, round 2 with Dave, the Iron Tamer Whitley.
Uncle Tamer.
And I have notes, both written and typed, to mention your bloody nose during the snatch test.
Brett Jones was my team leader in Philly.
Okay, perfect ammunition. This is.
Yeah, I worked with Brett. It's actually funny, at the time, I had gone through an in-house kettlebell cert at the gym that I was at. Because they offered it, so I was like, all right, cool. If you'll pay for it, I'm going to go through it. And then one of the trainers at the facility that I was at was like, no. You want to learn kettlebells? Look up this guy Pavel.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I was like, all right, cool. How hard can this be? I'll, literally, like, I think that afternoon signed up for, there was one coming in Philly in 2009. Yeah, 9, because last year was 11 years. Which Alex pointed out because I messed up. I wrote this whole big post about, oh my God, it's my 10-year anniversary, with Pavel as one of his students. And Alex was the first comment. He goes, work on your math. It's 11 years. Look at your certificate. And I look at my certificate. I was like, oh shit, it's 11 years. But it was like one of those, like I walk in and it's like, I have no idea who any of these people are. And they've literally turned out to be, all of my mentors now in the industry. And, Brett Jones was my team leader. My level 2, Doc Chang was my team leader. And it's cool now. I text back and forth with Doc, all the time. Any martial arts questions, FMS type questions, just advice questions. He's a good friend now, which is cool to kind of see how that transition, went to from, being a mentor to being this person who, not to say that I don't still, but, held up on this high pedestal. And now where it's almost like it's unattainable for me to be able to talk to him outside of this, where it's now like, I can just, reach out and be like, hey Doc, what's going on? Hope everything's good in LA. He'll text me on my birthday and, kind of seeing how that's changed. And again, the community within StrongFirst, all these people that we held up so high, where it's like they are there, but they help bring you up to that level. So you're on the same level with them.
And that is true strength right there.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
like you said, I have these people on a pedestal, and I still do. But the fact that you and I can reach out and say hello and respond like that, it's amazing. It really is amazing. And it's a testament to their character and their
Absolutely.
Genuine humanity, like just great people.
Yeah. Willing to teach the little guy.
Yeah.
And then make the little guy the big guy with them.
Right.
Because they know that if I'm teaching now, I'm going to try to make that person up there with me. And it's, we're never just like looking down on you like, hey, how's it going down there? It's always, how's it going?
Yeah. It's empowering. That's what it is.
It is. It really is. Really, Pugs, am I putting you to sleep? Am I boring you now?
It's not boring. It's late.
Wednesday's moved. She's like now over there on a pillow.
Oh, hilarious.
But yeah, Brett was my team leader at level 1. Dr. Chang was my team leader at level 2. Karen I worked with multiple times. She was actually the first time I went through the SFB. John was running it. I went through the second SFB.
Really?
So before that, it was still the Naked Warrior. Mm-hmm. And then I think there was one cert in San Diego, and then John was teaching. Basically, it was the first cert on the East Coast, but the second ever SFB.
Whoa.
And then once the lifter came about, it was probably within like the top 5 events that I then went through the SFL with Doc.
Wow. I had no idea. So John was the first one to teach the pre SFB.
Well, he taught, it was the SFB. So I never went through. So Pablo's original book, The Naked Warrior, was basically what the SFB came, kind of initiated from. And that's what the certification was called before that. And then once StrongFirst formed, then it became the SFB. John Ingham was one of the people that was cleared to teach it, and he was my first instructor with that.
That's amazing. Oh my!
And gone through it a bunch of times, assisting.
Bugsley, come on.
And, now you want to wake up? Assisting her and working with her, and learning from her as well.
And this is Karen Smith we're talking about. Fantastic. I did the SFB in 17. I kind of think, and I'm not the only person probably thinks this, it might be the first place to start in the StrongFirst journey.
I have been saying that for years. The tension techniques that we teach in the SFB will translate to everything else.
Yes.
So my journey was SFG, SFG2, SFB, SFL, just because at the time when I went through it, there was no SFB, SFL. Those were the only two courses. Some of the tension techniques are mentioned in level 1, level 2 in the SFL, but they're taught in full from stage 1 to stage 18 in the SFB.
Right.
And again, for me, being so ingrained in the FMS, I have no right pressing a weight if I can't control and press body weight.
Yes.
So for me, I think you're going to get the most out of going through the SFB first.
I'm with you on that.
A lot of people just don't think that it's the sexy course.
Right.
So they kind of put it. Yeah, so they kind of like put it to the side and do it, second, third, or last. But yeah, the information that you get in that course, I find translates over to all three other courses, both modalities, more so than the other direction.
This is so true. And the first person to mention this to me was actually Eric Frohart, at the time the CEO of StrongFirst, and he mentioned this. And it made complete sense because, like you, my trajectory was the same as yours, minus SFG2. I've not done the level 2. I've done IKFF level 2 a few times, but that's different. So it was SFG, SFB, then SFL for myself as well. And then in the SFB, learning the tension, the irradiation, control, proprioception, it translates into everything, not just kettlebells, not just barbells, but everything else. And honestly, in my business, my day-to-day business, that course has probably been the most beneficial, especially during quarantine and COVID and teaching people at home, because they often don't have access to weights or can't purchase kettlebells like we have plentiful right here, or even, other tools. So being able to do hollow holds and body weight calisthenic exercises is, it's you. You always have your gym with you. It's a fantastic curriculum.
And it's funny, if you look at Summer Olympics, who are probably some of the pound for pound strongest athletes, the gymnasts.
Oh yeah.
The ones that are doing the body weight stuff. And again, just going through that last, it was just like one of those, like, idiot. Should have done it the other way. But yeah, no, if anybody that's looking to kind of jump into the community and looking to learn the system, again, I highly recommend going through body weight first.
Yeah. There's so many drills you learn. And as a coach too, it's fantastic because you can, back to your point, regressions are the key. Like, how can you safely approach somebody who is new to this safely? There's so many great regressions you can do with people, and then advance it, and then load those patterns with weight, with the kettlebell, with the barbell, with other tools. Yeah, it's a great.
Yeah, I just went through it. I assisted Karen a couple months ago when she was in New York for the course.
Yes.
And like even I was taking notes. Like there were a couple times where I'm not going to sit there and take notes because I'm guy assisting, and I was basically the demo for the majority of things. But there were a couple times where I looked over at my phone, was like, Karen, I'm taking a photo of this, and just like quick took photos of her notes in her notebook. She's done an amazing job with that course of being able to get somebody and progress them to guys that one arm, one leg push up, women, the one arm push up, and knowing exactly what you need to get there, and not just start on the wall, then go a little lower, then go a little lower, then go a little lower, then go to the floor. But like you said, all of those tension techniques, when to use them, how to use them, how much of each to use, how much of each to use, and when.
Yep.
And just their aggression through that course. She's done an amazing job with that course.
Oh, it's so good. And Karen is such a great teacher, great coach, for sure.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Well, on that note,
yeah,
up for round 5, I guess. Well, who knows? Honorary, probably round 6 by now. Well, Matthew, thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure catching up with you.
I love it. And anytime.
Good stuff. And I'll let Alex and Pat know you say hello. And you know what? I'm gonna get Jeff on. I've pitched Jeff and he said yes, and I need to make that happen.
Jeff is a perfect example of what I was talking about before. I reached out. I was up in Seattle for GFM.
Mm-hmm.
I had never met Jeff before. I sent him a message. Hey, I'm going to be up in Seattle. Would love to, connect one day for a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And his response back was, you need a place to crash.
Right.
And literally it was like, when he picked me up from the airport or no, actually I from the airport, I went right to the gym because he was teaching a class, and it was like, Matt, Jeff, hey, nice to meet you. Let's go to my house now. Like that's the community. I
love it. And
yeah, Jeff's a real good guy. I had a good time that weekend. I had a good time with them.
He's a stud. And he's super strong too. I mean, if you follow Jeff, the Sokol on there on Instagrams, he's always posting fun stuff, strong stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And always learn from him too. Just because, I've been part of the system longer doesn't mean, hey, I'm not going to learn from him. He's posted some cues that it's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And, use them with, my athletes now. Take cues from everywhere. There are cues that I've learned from the students, from the participants.
Right.
At the courses that was like, oh, well, hey, what do you think of this? Because I've used this to teach this movement to, my students. It's like, I like it. I really like this.
Right.
Always learning.
Always learning. Hashtag always learning.
Yeah.
This is so true.
Throw one of those hash browns at the end of it. Send it to the interweb.
Eggs banding.
What show?
I don't know. What show's that?
Cobra Kai.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm out.
And I know what you're doing for the rest of the night now.
Oh, exactly. Well, I'll get to that. Well, Matt, much love to you and your family. Tell the kiddos hello. Engearment.com podcast listeners, thank you so much for checking this out. I'm going to have links below. I have so many notes for this podcast, more notes than any other podcast yet. A lot of resources.
And glad I can help, man. Anytime, and the same thing with your listeners, put some of my, they can reach me, Matthew@StaffordStrength.com. Send me a message on Facebook, man. Any questions, I'll always try to answer.
Oh, much appreciated. And I'm sure you'll get a lot of questions because you brought up a lot of very good points here. All right. Well, we'll wrap this one up. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out the podcast. Matthew Flaherty, take care. I'll talk to you guys soon.